Oh, my neck. Hey, I'm Dr. Peters with Peters Wellness, Chiropractic, and Massage. This week's quick video is in regards to whiplash. Now, obviously, a car isn't the only way that this can happen. Sometimes a roller coaster ride, getting your head whipped around. But in this case, talking about in case of an auto accident. And this week's Optimal Health University, I have a copy here, talks about the average adult head weighs 10 pounds. Okay, and it can experience forces up to 7 G's at the speed used in this experiment. So meaning we're talking about crashes occurring at 10 miles per hour or less. You can have 7 G's of force onto your neck because of the 10-pound head. And that means that a head exerts 170 pounds of force on the neck. 100, imagine that. I'm what am I, 194 pounds? Imagine that, me hitting you in the back of the head with that much force. That would be very traumatic. And this is when you're driving less than 10 miles per hour, or the person hitting you is driving less than 10 miles per hour. In most of the cases we see in our office, person's at a stoplight or at a stop sign, and bam, they get nailed. I don't know what it is. People need to learn to put their phones down maybe while they're driving. I don't know. It'd be a good idea. Hands-free. My car's got hands-free. I don't need to be holding my phone while I'm driving. So the other important thing I want to point out, even if you're not feeling the effects of the injury right after, you get that whiplash causes a sprain, strain in the muscles and ligaments and tissues. One of the things that they talk about here in this week's handout, people suffering from whiplash were more likely to experience, listen to this, headaches, back pain, shoulder and neck pain, fatigue, and sleep problems 7 years afterwards. And you think about it, and I find this all the time. Imagine if I have my seatbelt on, and when I get hit, the seatbelt, or when I get hit, or if I hit something, if I come forward, the seatbelt is here across my shoulder, and my clavicle is right here. So I'm going to come forward. I'm going to naturally be turned. So my head is going to go this way. Now this is just considering if I get, hit something in front of me, if someone hits me from behind, I'm going to go back. Hopefully your headrest is high enough. You don't want your headrest down here. You want your headrest high enough. You're going to hit that, but of course then that's going to bring you forward. Seatbelt's going to keep your head and your face off the steering wheel, so it's a good thing. You're going to come forward and then come back again. So it's a lot of movement with your head, and of course concussions are a big deal. So your brain moves, your skull moves, it stops and comes back, and your brain's inside that skull, and it goes forward. The skull stops, your brain goes boom, and then everything comes back. The skull stops, your brain goes boom, and it comes forward again. So literally, now you've got cerebral spinal fluid surrounding the brain, but still you can get contusions and you can get bruising on the brain itself. So of course this is another concern. So if you're noticing, or if you know someone who gets involved in an accident, they might slur their speech. They may not remember something. They may not be sleeping well. These are a lot of different things that need to be looked at to make sure that there isn't some type of long-term effect that is happening because it's not addressed and it's not treated properly. The other thing I wanted to bring up with this, mental and emotional disturbances associated with whiplash include poor concentration, sleep disturbances, depression, and post-traumatic stress disorder. Now we hear about this with our military and the VA, but also an auto accident can cause this to a certain degree. I'm not sure if we should compare being in an auto accident to being in war, but they use that terminology as far as the effects. So don't take it lightly. Just because you're feeling okay, get yourself checked, okay? Just call the our office or whatever office, go in. And of course, in the chiropractic office, we're going to check your range of motion. I do all my 100 muscle tests. We definitely need to check the shoulder. Now, initially, you might think if you're the driver, it could affect the left shoulder more. But what if you're sitting in traffic and you got your hands at 10 and 2 and you get hit and you come forward and this keeps you back and you go forward here and it jams your shoulder up? You can get jammed. I've had patients tear their right shoulder when they got rear-ended and they were the driver. And it wasn't because of the seatbelt here, but it was because we got jammed here, and it jammed that humeral head into the labrum and just tore that sucker. So getting checked is very, very important. Highly recommend it. And also to make sure that you're thinking of the other passengers in your vehicle. Think of the person who was riding next to you, or someone who was in the back, or even the babies in child seats. Now, you know, people just think, oh, they're young, they're pliable, but get them checked just to make sure. So have an awesome week, and just be careful out there, man. There are some people who are not paying attention, and I don't want you or your family to get hurt.